Yes, ma'am. So, Trustee Baker.
Here.
Trustee Dodd.
Here.
Trustee Goff.
Here.
Trustee Iverson.
Here.
Trustee Rios.
Here.
Student Trustee Leon. Pablo, we can't hear you.
You should mark him as Harry. There he goes.
Okay. Trustee Baldini.
Here.
And Trustee Segura.
Here.
Thank you. All present.
Thank you very much. So now we're on 2.2. Is it okay if we ask Mr. Josefa to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
To the
flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And justice for all. Thank you very much. And so now we are going to 2.3. We recommend that the agenda be accepted as presented. Is there a
So a second.
Second. Iverson.
I think Jennifer beat you to it.
Okay.
Trustee. So moved by Trustee Rios, second by both Trustee Baker and Trustee Iverson. Trustee Baker came in first. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or I should do this as we did last time. Jennifer Baker.
Aye.
Trustee Baker.
Aye.
Trustee Dodd.
Aye.
Trustee Goff.
Aye.
Trustee Iverson.
Aye.
Trustee Rios.
Aye.
Trustee Leon. We cannot hear, so that should be noted.
I heard him.
So that was a yes. Okay. Trustee Baldini,
Here.
and that's an aye for me as well. So agenda adopted as submitted. And now we go to 3.1. Outstanding Napa Valley College Storm Athletes. Presenting will be Associate Dean Jerry Dunlap. Is Mr. Dunlap with us?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, trustees, Dr. Kraft, and all the other distinguished dignitaries that are with us this evening via this Zoom call. We appreciate the opportunity once again to honor our athletes that were scholar athletes for this past 2019-20 year. We put together a brief PowerPoint. I don't know if Catherine is able to do that. Click on that. And we'll kind of talk you through a couple of the talking points prior to some of the academic accomplishments our student athletes have made this year. There we go. So it's our first slide, just a composite of our 8 intercollegiate athletic teams that participated this past 2019. And some of them were obviously shortened in the spring of 2020. Men's golf and baseball had shortened season. Next slide, please. So this is our CCC academic requirements that our student athletes must follow. Our student athletes at Napa Valley College must always be enrolled during competition in 12 units. 9 of those must be academic that are working towards their educational plan. Student athletes are required to complete 24 units in a year. 18 of those must be, again, towards their academic educational plan in order to compete in the second season, as well as they must maintain a 2.0 grade point average at that time. Next slide, please. So I took some interesting information off CalPASS we get it up from the previous year. So our student athletes at Napa Valley College on average completed 28.33 units, and the average non-athlete at Napa Valley College completed 14.35 units for that academic year. Student athletes at Napa Valley College, their average GPA was at 2.8. Non-student athletes on our campus was at 2.7. And then an interesting fact at the end was our full-time student athletes, full-time students for both the fall and spring. Our student athletes, 67% of them were full-time students in the fall and spring, as opposed to 14% of our non-athletes. That number can be a little skewed because sometimes in the fall, our incoming freshmen that participate in spring athletics don't always take the 12 units. We're going to see that number increase with the Promise program because the majority of those students are local and are participating in that program. And then we do have sophomores, excuse me, that are graduating that potentially were first semester athletes, so that they don't always take a full load in that second semester. So that 67% is actually probably closer to the 80, 85, 90% when we take student athletes that are actually have eligibility remaining. So we're very, very impressed, very happy with those, with that CalPAS data. Next slide. And then this is kind of the nuts and bolts of our scholar athletes for this past academic year, 2019-2020. Of the 88 student athletes that participated at Napa Valley College, 43 of those students had a GPA of 3.0 or higher. 17 of those student athletes had a 3.5 GPA or higher, and we had 7 student athletes that had a perfect 4.0 grade point. One interesting kind of side note to some of our local students, Sophia Green was a volleyball player. She carried 20.5 units during the volleyball season. She was from Vintage High School, and Freddie Tenbrick, he's a baseball player from American Canyon. He carried 19.5 units during the baseball season. So very impressed with these numbers. Like we said in years past, we thank Rodney Webster, our academic advisor, Gwen Kell and Eric Martinez for all the help they provide for our student athletes, as well as Howard Wells. Howard has done a great job, and everybody across campus helping support our student athletes. So we are very pleased with the academic success. It continues to climb every year. And we feel with this Promise program, we're going to see even more student athletes coming to our campus. And with the situations going on statewide, we're starting to see an influx of student athletes wanting to attend Napa Valley College. So we're very excited at this point. Any questions from anybody?
Sounds very exciting. Congratulations on all you do with our athletes and putting Napa Valley College out there, not only academically, but in sports. Congratulations to all of the athletes. That's awesome. Thank you very much for the report.
Thank you.
And so 3.2, Phi Theta Kappa, awards for 2020. Presenting will be English professor Kathy Gillis, and she will introduce us to some students.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. Jerry, I just wanted to say I recognize some of those names in there as being Phi Theta Kappa students, so congratulations on that. We're also very excited about our Honor Society chapter, particularly the officers that are present tonight. And we're gonna introduce them via video in a second, but I just want to note that this year, every year, our chapter brings back awards that honor our college. But this year in particular, we won more awards than we've won, and the higher awards on an international level than we have won in some 10 years. So I just want to point out their achievements. They were an amazing, amazing board, worked very closely to one another, were very active on campus and worked with a lot of you. as well as conducted really wonderful projects that enhanced our campus, including the water refill station project. So thank you for your assistance, for that help. And I just want to, again, highlight the fact of the level of awards, including the top 100 society chapters out of 1,500 chapters all across the nation, including many that are in several countries. So with that, I hope we can show the video to introduce who those board members are that are with us tonight, and perhaps a few more, and you can ask them questions after. It's very short. No, we lost the audio. So we do have some students present if you have any questions or would like to say any words to them.
I think this is awesome. I mean, international. Wow. I'm speechless, as you can tell. This is great. This is wonderful. And, you know, honor society, sports, my goodness. Thank you for all you do with them.
Thank you. Also, as you know, Josefa was awarded on many levels, and he's here with us tonight as well.
Tell us about it, Josefa. Please.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I was just listening to everyone, and I'm, I'm honored to be back here virtually, even, so that's a thing now. But yeah, I think these awards, these are not just for me, but these awards are practically for my team, Phi Theta Kappa team, everyone. And I honestly wouldn't have done it without them, and hands-on, work. And for sure, Kathy Gillis is like on the top of this. She's like, making us, make sure we do all of our work on time, and then, submit those letters and, paragraphs that we need to do for those specific awards. Thank you for having us this evening.
Josefa, what are you doing next year?
I'm transferring to UC Berkeley this fall. I'll be majoring in molecular bio, so that's that.
Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Do we have time to just? I'm sorry, but it's just I love that. I mean, all the students are on. It'd be great if we could have each student introduce themselves who's on, to the extent they feel they've got the audio to do so, and let us know what they're doing next year.
And where they're going.
That's okay with you, Razara.
How many do you have, Kathy?
There's only about 5, I think.
Oh, please go ahead, by all means.
Thank you.
Do you want me to?
Hi guys, I am Manal Tabassum. I'm the Executive Vice President of Phi Theta Kappa, and I'll be transferring to UC Berkeley in fall 2020 with major of Environmental Biology. Go Bears! Yay!
Hello everybody, my name is Cole Higgins. I am the president of Beta Beta Sigma, and I'll be taking a semester here, and then I'm trying to transfer to USC for international relations and human rights.
Ah, awesome.
Great, Cole. Very nice.
Anybody else?
Oh, yeah, you're out there. Where's Melita? Hi, Melita.
Hi. So I'm Melita Coleman, and I'm the VP of Communications. I'm still gonna be here for another year, but I'm transferring to become a nurse. So I'm not where yet, but I will figure it out.
Keep up the good work.
Yes, wonderful.
Hey guys, my name is Luis Ambriz, and for this upcoming year, I'm still going to continue going to Napa Valley College, and then hopefully after that year, I will transfer to UC Davis to study animal science, and in the future, hopefully become a vet.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. This is Jodit Chad. I was the ICC rep for PTK. I'm still deciding between UCLA and San Diego, but I got admission both of them for electrical engineering. So I'm transferring, but I might be here for summer session though.
We'll keep you for summer. Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, all of you.
Thank you.
I would like to say congratulations, Kathy, as a faculty member and an organizer of PTK for many years. She's recognized nationally for her work, and she's also done a wonderful job at keeping our students in the forefront. So thank you, Kathy. It's really wonderful to be working with you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you very much.
Kathy.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for your support.
Glad to do it. So we are on 3.3, and we have a resolution in honor of Napa Valley College classified professionals. We recommend that to adopt the resolution in honor of classified professionals. Matt Christensen, Director of Facilities, will speak about these employees and who have served NVC for 15 years.
Good afternoon, folks. We are fortunate enough to have 3 folks from the Facilities Department hit the 15-year mark this year. First of all, Ian Holbrook was initially a student at Napa Valley College and began working in the ceramics program as an instructional assistant before coming to the Facilities Department as a custodian. Following a number of years in the warehouse and the facility support role, he was hired to become a maintenance mechanic painter in 2019. He continues to provide valuable support related to safe handling of hazardous materials for the campus. Ian is a keen learner and always willing to take on new challenges. He's also an eager troubleshooter and willing to help others in the department. As Ian has become more familiar with the campus energy management system, he is now completing some of the technical work in the field, resulting in immeasurable savings in outside repair costs to the district. Ian's multiple talents help make him a valuable member of the facility service department. The second employee we have is Jefferson Matai. Jefferson began working for the college as a custodian too. In this role, he worked as part of the custodial team, providing routine and project cleaning throughout the campus. Due to staffing needs, Jefferson was increasingly called on to provide leadership during event setups and project coordination. He became a custodian 3 and then a lead custodian in 2018. As a lead custodian, he functions as a project lead, provides coordination and support for events, and interfaces with outside users. He works with a supervisor and provides input during daily interaction to balance workload and cleaning schedules to react to staffing levels and situational expectations. Jefferson's understanding of the cleaning expectations at the college and his ability to provide service while short-staffed helped make him a valuable member of the facilities department. And our third employee is Gil Nixon. Gil has been the lead groundskeeper throughout his time at Napa Valley College. In this role, he has faced the challenges of increased landscape development through the additional building additions, as well as the continued aging of the irrigation infrastructure and landscapes in other parts of the campus. Gil has been able to adapt to varying staffing level challenges and provided balanced approach to shifting priorities. He has embraced the use of reclaimed water on the athletic fields for all its benefits and challenges. During the last 15 years, he has seen both high water and drought and is familiar with all the phases of weather impacts to the campus grounds. Yule's knowledge of the campus and understanding of the regular challenge helped make him a valuable member of the department. So thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. There is a resolution. I will read a couple of the whereas, and, but anyway, yes, so I will start. Whereas Napa Valley College classified professionals are an important, valued, and essential part of the educational team whose shared goal is to provide access to outstanding college programs and services. And whereas through their professionalism, teamwork, and dedication, classified professionals have raised the reputation of the college in the community and enhanced the educational experience of countless students. And there's about another whereas, but now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees, faculty, and administrative staff sincerely offers thanks and compliments to classified professionals of Napa Valley College. And yes, campus looks marvelous, and without you, it wouldn't have the personality it has. Thank you so very much. Does anybody else would like to make any comments on that? So, do I get a first and do I get a second?
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Baker.
Second by
Baldini. I'm sorry, did I?
No, you're right.
Okay, so we go on to the vote. Trustee Baker.
Aye.
Trustee Dodd.
Aye.
Trustee Goff.
Aye.
Trustee Iverson.
Aye.
Trustee Rios.
Aye.
Trustee Leon.
Aye.
Trustee Baldini.
Aye.
And I also is an aye for me. Approval by our trustees. Thanks again and keep up the good work. Now we move on to 3.4, Nursing Program and Resolution in honor of National Nurses Week. You have the resolution, and I will only read a couple of the whereas. Where Napa Valley College Associate Degree in Nursing Program was started at the request of the community which expressed the need of registered nurses. And whereas the Napa Valley College Associate Degree in Nursing Program admitted its first class of students in 1970. And whereas the Napa Valley College Associate Degree in Nursing Program graduated its first class of students in June of 1972. And there's three more whereas, but now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees and the entire college community join to acknowledge and honor the nurse faculty, both full-time and adjunct, of the Associate Degree in Nursing Program, the Vocational Nursing Program, the Psychiatric Technician Program, and the EMS Program, and other nurses at Napa Valley College, adopted by the Board of Trustees at its regular meeting on May 14th, 2020. We know how important nurses are, especially in the times that we're living, and
President Segura, Rosara, I'm sorry.
Yes.
This is Bob Harris. I'm the Dean over at Health Occupations, and prior to the board's vote, may I say a word or two?
Oh, please do. You're not allowed to. No.
This is an annual resolution that people take in our program very seriously, and the nursing faculty and the nurses, all the registered and vocational nurses in our program, would like to dedicate and tribute this resolution this evening to two retirees who we lost this year. One was Barbara Lucas, who was a faculty member in the nursing program in the late 80s, early 90s. and she passed away in January of this year. And then many of you may remember Margaret Craig, who was the dean of the nursing program, the director from 1999 to 2010. She also had a passion. She was primarily responsible for the building and the process for the Wine Country Regional Simulation Center that was up in Yountville. And now we've moved it down to campus. So she recently passed on March 7th. So the nursing faculty would like to honor and tribute them with this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. And I didn't mean to, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm sorry, did we have a first and do we have a second?
Move
for approval.
Second by trustee Baldini.
Moved by trustee Baldini, second by trustee Rios or Iverson?
I moved for approval. Iverson moved for approval, and trustee Baldini seconded. But we can.
Trustee Rios moved first.
Can I have a referee, please? Anyway, that moved by Iverson, second by Baldini. And trustee Baker.
Aye.
Trustee Dodd.
Aye.
Trustee Goff.
Aye.
Trustee Iverson.
Aye.
Trustee Rios.
Aye.
Student trustee Leon.
Aye.
Trustee Baldini.
Aye.
That's an aye for me. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you for the help on this decoding on who was first and who was second. 3.5. Administrative Confidential Employee of the Year. Mr. Harris, President of the Administrative Confidential Senate, will present and introduce the winner. Did he leave?
You're muted, Bob. Still muted.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
The buttons blur after a while. As president of the Administrative Senate, it's my honor and privilege to announce to the campus community this year's Administrative Confidential Employee of the Year is Senior Dean of Arts and Sciences, Mr. Robert Bob Vanderbilt. What I provided here is a nomination record that was written by several faculty in a couple of his areas, and sort of a conglomeration, but I think it fits Bob very well. And Bob once described his management style as management by walking around, and he does. It is clear that Bob is genuinely interested in the well-being of those in his charge, and he goes out of his way to visit just to make sure that they know they are important. Bob undertook 2 divisions this year, and he has shown exemplary leadership skill through his fair decision-making and steadfast commitment to the instructional needs of both divisions. He has created unity between 2 very different divisions that were once siloed. Bob is involved with the campus community and the Napa community at large. In times of crisis, such as the PG&E power outages and the COVID-19 pandemic we are all undergoing right now, Bob has demonstrated incredible compassion and caring for students, faculty, and staff alike. He seems to work from a deep sense of integrity and trust in those around him. He allows people to do their jobs, gently guiding when necessary and championing success. One professor humorously noted that the Napa fires and now the COVID-19 pandemic happened to coincide with the arrival of Bob. He's only missed the earthquake. However, Bob was the exact right person at the exact right time to help us through these disasters and lead our college through a very stressful time. And we are all better off because of Bob. And as the president of the Administrative Senate and as another Bob, it's my pleasure to present to you Bob Vanderbilt.
Hey.
Does Bob have a word to say or anything?
Yeah, thanks, Bob. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for this high honor. It means a lot to me because it comes from peers and colleagues. I worked through blizzards at colleges in Ohio and Michigan, and hurricanes in Alabama and Florida, and I knew about earthquakes and floods in Napa. Wildfires and planned power outages are new, but I have to say that global pandemics are really over the top. I heard somebody say the other day that if locusts appear, we're out of here. But I want you to know that I'm humbled by this honor, but the real honor is to work with the great professionals, both faculty and staff, who are so dedicated to student success. I am so very proud of their work, and it is my honor to help lead them. So thank you very much for this recognition.
Thank you for your service and congratulations.
Bob, I would just, I can't let the opportunity go without thanking you personally. You came in at a very rough time during the fires as my family was evacuated. Only one wonderful person who my Great Dane would go to, and that was you. So you not only rescued my family, but our very special guy too. So, you know, it's all good. That showed me from the very get-go that you were in it to just make a difference. So thank you from all of us.
Thanks, Ron.
Can I say something?
Please do.
So Bob, a year with Bob V, what does that look like? A year with Bob V looks like lots of emails, lots of Facebook posts, lots of communication, and I could go on and on. But as Bob Harris said, working with you, Bob, for this year, I am truly grateful. You have been right by my side. You have been supporting me. You have taken on tasks that I have asked you to do at the last minute and taken them with stride and doing them with grace. And I can't thank you enough for the leadership that you show to our institution. You are wonderful with our staff, with our faculty, with our students. You just go above and beyond every day, and you are so deserving of this award. So thank you so much for everything you have done and everything that you have done for me while I've been in this job this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service and congratulations. We go on to 3.6, resolution honoring retiring faculty member. This is an action item and we're recommending that we adopt the resolution. Faye Smiley, Interim Assistant Superintendent, Vice President of Academic Affairs, will begin and turn it over to Senior Dean Maria Villagomez, who will speak about and introduce Ann Glass and read the resolution. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Baker, second Trustee Baldini. Well, should we do this? Should we vote or should we hear from Faye and Maria? Let's hear from Faye and Maria.
You're muted, Faye.
I apologize. Good evening, Board of Trustees. I'm honored to be able to stand before you to acknowledge Professor Ann Gross. Ann is truly a valued colleague on our campus. I will be asking Senior Dean Maria Villagomez to read the resolution she wrote for Ann, but I just want to say a few words of thanks before she does so. Ann, thank you for your years of service to Napa Valley College. You have been a true force and someone who always puts students first. Your commitment to the college continues to amaze me every day. And on a personal note, Ann, you have always been a mentor, a confidant, and a wonderful colleague to me, always there to lend an ear or support and advice on an issue. I will never forget my first commencement at NBC, of which you helped me to learn the ropes and how it all worked here at Napa Valley College. That was the beginning of a long and very valuable relationship. I will miss you, Anne, but I'm sending you good wishes as you begin your journey into retirement. Enjoy this time, Anne, as you deserve it. I now want to introduce Senior Dean Maria Villagomez, who will read the resolution for you.
Thank you, and good evening, Board of Trustees and colleagues. It is my honor to have written and read now in front of you this resolution for our esteemed colleague, Anne Gross, who will be starting on a new adventure, a new chapter in her life, and it is a privilege that I get to read this resolution for her in your presence. Professor Anne Gross, whereas Professor of Speech Communication Anne Gross has served as an important and valued part of the educational team at Napa Valley College for over 30 years and is retiring now after completing outstanding service to Napa Valley College. And whereas through her integrity, honesty, professionalism, excellent work ethic, teamwork, and dedication, Professor Anne Gross raised the reputation of the speech communication program and the college in the community and enhanced the educational experience of countless number of students. And whereas though the high standards Professor Anne Gross set for herself, she demonstrated a drive for excellence and contributed in a most meaningful way to the effective implementation of a speech communication curricula, which aligns with the college's mission. And whereas Professor Anne Gross has shown herself to be reliable, dedicated, passionate, and persevering as she worked to support and mentor colleagues and students through challenges. And whereas Professor Anne Gross held positions of responsibility at Napa Valley College, including but not limited to valuable work for the Faculty Association as grievance officer and as the Senate Executive Board as president of the Academic Senate. And whereas Professor Anne Gross contributed outstanding service to the then called Diversity Task Force Committee, Inclusivity Committee, and HR Processes and Procedures. And whereas Professor Anne Gross committed to teaching speech communication with the purpose of enhancing thousands of students' lives. And whereas Professor Anne Gross earned the admiration and respect of attending every academic Senate meeting and union meetings. And whereas Professor Anne Gross mentored many faculty members beyond the speech communication department and provided them with valuable advice to use in the classroom. And now, therefore, be it resolved, 15th day of May, 2020, that the Board of Trustees and the entire college community sincerely offer thanks and compliments to Professor Anne Gross and wish her every joy as she moves on to new adventures. Congratulations, Anne Gross, for an impeccable period of time in your teaching career and for everything you've contributed to our students inside and outside the classroom. I will miss you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, for reading that resolution, and congratulations, Professor Gross. And yeah, you, after all that, you'll be missed, but hopefully you will enjoy retirement. But you will be dearly missed.
I would like to invite, if possible, Anne Gross to share a few words with us.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, actually. Maria and Faye, thank you to the members of the board, too. I do come from a speech background, so I do have a few words to share after 30 years. And as one who's been here almost since the dawn of time, I actually would like to share a few of my institutional memories and reflections before I take my leave. First, for some perspective, over the 32 years that I've taught here, we built the McCarthy Library, the PAC Center, the Life Sciences Building, and the North Gym with its adaptive PE room. We've continually remodeled, refurbished, and reorganized our classrooms, departments, and buildings to update them and make them more efficient. We added the Student Health Care Center, the Daycare Center, the Veterans Center, the Cultural Center, the Food Bank, and the solar power field, ice chiller plant, and recycling bins. We went from classrooms with blackboards and chalk, which I liked at the time, knowing no better, to computers and LCD projectors. From paper grading and record keeping to WebAdvisor, Canvas, and online instruction. And all of these changes have been spearheaded by individuals, each bringing their own vision and expertise to the college and working collectively with others to bring those visions to life. Working with our colleagues on committees and in our departments, we have continued to reshape the college in ways great and small, every day and over time. One of the things I've most enjoyed has been participating on so many hiring committees as we've made those most important decisions of who best would help support the college's mission and shape its future. And it's been truly gratifying to watch these individuals add their voices to the mix, and then to witness the outcomes of their labors as the college has continued to evolve. Yet even more valuable to me personally will always be the relationships that I've developed over these many years with so many members of our college community. While we have served together in our official capacities, we've also shared our lives together. We've celebrated the milestones of marriages and births. We've supported each other through illness and loss. We've laughed together and shared meals and stories. We've worked through our differences and celebrated our successes. And through all that, my colleagues have become my family. Of the many things I will miss in retirement, it is those small conversations that we have shared over these years that I will miss the most. And finally, I have to thank the more than 8,000 students that I've had the great privilege of working with over these decades. Of all the joys of being a teacher and of working at Napa Valley College, the greatest joy for me has been getting to know my students, of learning about them and from them each and every day. They came from every background, some with clear goals and plans, but many more still finding their voices. I have never ceased to be amazed by their insights, and by seeing them continue to push forward through whatever struggles life may have given them, all in the pursuit of their education. And that has never been clearer or more impressive than right now, when so many students are struggling with the overnight, unexpected shift to learning from home. These thousands of students have made it a pleasure for me to come to work every day, and they continue to give me great hope for the future. And so I wish the college, my dear colleagues, and our students all the best in the times ahead. May the college continue to thrive through the many challenges that it's sure to face. I'm excited to be heading out to new adventures, no mistake about that. But a part of my heart will always be here with you at Napa Valley College. Thank you.
Thank you. You look very young. Are you sure you were ready to retire? Enjoy retirement. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Madam Chair, I'd like to say something.
Oh, please do, Trustee Baldini.
Professor Gross, thank you very much. If you came at the dawn, I came at high noon. So I'm certainly very grateful to you for your dedication and your constructive contributions to this campus, to this community. And the other part of the speaking or speech communication is the listening part, and I appreciate your ear over these years I've been a board member, and see your passion and your vision for this campus, and thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that.
Is it okay if I say something?
Yes, please.
I know I already thanked you in the union meeting today, Anne, but I want to thank you again for your dedication, for your leadership, for your historical perspective, and we are going to miss you, miss your guidance, and I wish you good luck with everything that you do in the future, because I know that whatever thing you're going to take on next, because I know you're going to take on something next, that whatever you take on next, you'll be just as successful there as you are here.
As academic senate president, I'd like to say something. I actually included something in the end of my report, but I'd like to take the opportunity to read it now. Anne, I wish to recognize Professor Anne Gross as she retires. She worked tirelessly in the union and in the academic senate, including in her capacity as academic senate president, to ensure that the needs of faculty were met so that students could achieve their goals at Napa Valley College. Anne and I were hired the same year, and I believe we are the only two left from our cohort. Congratulations, Anne, on your retirement. You will be missed. Thank you for your years of service, and good luck in all of your endeavors.
Thank you, Eileen. Appreciate that.
I have to add at least one thing, and I've heard it in Ann High. I came in 2012 and was in a Senate spot, and like so many others, there are people who leave the institution who are they are the institution, and you can kind of feel a piece of Napa history, and that's what you are in. And thank you for what I'll just call fireside chats in your office, where I could roll by and get a little dose of just calm reality. And there were so many of those along the years that you've helped so many, including me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Move approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Moved by Trustee Baldini, second by Trustee Iverson. Trustee Baker, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd.
Aye.
Trustee Goff.
Aye.
Trustee Rios.
Aye.
Trustee Iverson.
Aye.
Student Trustee Leon.
Aye.
Trustee Baldini.
Aye.
And that's an aye for me as well. So all approval. And sounds like she's going to be missed, terribly missed. But now we're on 3.7, faculty emeritus. This is also an action item. We recommend that we award emeritus status to retiring faculty members. And Ms. Mary Shea, professor of Spanish and English, who retired this year, and Rose, professor of communication studies. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Do I have a second? Okay, moved by Trustee Iverson, second by Trustee Baker. Any comments, discussion? So, Trustee Baker, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Goff.
Aye.
Trustee Iverson.
Aye.
Trustee Rios.
Aye.
Student Trustee Leon.
Aye.
Trustee Baldini.
Aye.
And that's an aye for me as well. So it's a unanimous approval. And so we go to 3.8, McPherson Distinguished Teaching Award for 2019-2020. This is an information item. The recipients of the McPherson Distinguished Teaching Award for 2019-2020 are, Faye Smiley will introduce them. Dr. Lisa Janover, Professor of English. Dr. Sally Baldwin, Kinesiology and Health Instructor. Faye? Is still with us?
Yeah, I am. I am extremely privileged to acknowledge the recipients of the McPherson Distinguished Teaching Award, Dr. Lisa Yanover and Dr. Sally Baldwin. Their outstanding teaching excellence, support of student success, and overall commitment to Napa Valley College is at the heart of everything they do every day. Lisa and Sally were honored at a Zoom meeting on May 8th. Before I begin speaking about Lisa and Sally, I want to thank Trustee Goff for her participation in the selection committee for the McPherson Teaching Award. She continues to be a valued and insightful member of the committee. Thank you, Trustee Goff. Lisa Yanover is a professor in the English department. She joined the college in 2002 as a part-time instructor and was hired as a full-time tenure-track faculty in 2006. Lisa is also a talented published poet and a valuable member of the Napa Valley Writers Conference team. Lisa is admired by her colleagues for her deep commitment to our students and this college through her work with the Napa Valley Writers Conference, her leadership on assessment and curriculum development, and her highest standards of rigor, student engagement, and student connection. Lisa is described as tireless on behalf of her students and her teaching, obsessed with continual improvement and open to second opinions, with high standards for both her students and herself. Lisa has also served in many leadership roles, which include positions on the Academic Senate Executive Board, Faculty Association Negotiating Team, and Program Evaluation Co-Chair. She is currently serving in her second year as Curriculum Committee Faculty Co-Chair. As one of her colleagues wrote, "This is the true gift that Professor Yanover has, and that she displays in the work she does all across the campus. This ability and willingness to step away from her comfortable chair in order to better serve others." I would like to now have Senior Dean Maria Villagoma say a few words about Lisa, and then we would like to hear from Lisa.
You may call me doctor, I won't mind.
Sorry.
Hello everyone again, and good evening once again. It is my honor to say a few words about Dr. Yanover. Dr. Yanover is a holistic community college professor. Everyone knows that she is the first to volunteer to help on any task or initiative that will help students or her department or the college. In fact, at times, some of us have felt the need to protect her from overcommitting herself to extra work, not because she's unable to manage it all, but because we know how far she will go to help others. Her work ethic is perfect. Her integrity is intact. Her professionalism is commendable. But above all these characteristics, what is most central to her as a professor is her firm commitment to her students' success. Routinely, Dr. Yanover assists her students with their essays one-on-one. Often, there is a line of students outside her office door, today known as the waiting room in Zoom, waiting to meet with her. Students sign up for her classes because they know this about Lisa. She will spend countless hours working with her students outside of the classroom to provide them with the support they need to be successful in her class. Thank you, Dr. Yanover, a friend of mine, for your commitment to our students' success. Your role in the English department and your leadership with the curriculum committee have been outstanding. Congratulations on a well-deserved and belated recognition. I'm so proud of you and honored to work with you and for you. Thank you. I'd like to invite Dr. Yanover to share a few words if she's inclined to do so.
We would love to hear from her.
Okay, sorry, it took me a moment to figure out how to unmute. The pattern. Thank you so much, both Faye and Maria. I'm sorry, I typically go by first names. I've said to a number of people, when I hear Dr. Yanover, I look around for my dad, who's a retired doctor. I'm so honored and grateful to have been selected for this year's McPherson Distinguished Teaching Award. I love how Faye said that have, someone said I got out of my comfortable chair, but I'm kind of stuck in it now. Been living here for I don't know how many days now. I heard once from a teacher that those who choose to be teachers choose also to be perpetual students, and I think that's true. I continue to learn from the marvelous teachers all around me here at Napa Valley College, especially those in my department. We share assignments, problem solve, commiserate with support, buoy each other up, cheer each other on, and celebrate everything teaching every day. Today we have weathered recession, earthquake, fires, AB 705, and a pandemic. As Dean Bob said, we have, Super Dean Bob Vanderbilt. Again, I since college, I've gone by people's first names. That was the college I went to also. We call our professors by their first names. Then so who knows what's next. I have also learned and continue to learn from my students through their commitment, openness, and generosity. Before I became a teacher, I could not know that teaching so often means having students appear in our lives, share theirs with us for a brief time, and then venture off into the rest of their lives, hopefully uplifted by the challenge they just rose to and more confident to face the next one. I have always associated teaching and writing. They are my two great loves. I feel very fortunate to have found a way to weave them together. So thank you to Napa Valley College for this wonderful acknowledgement and especially the opportunity.
Thank you for your service. I think it's very well deserved. Thank you. Yes. Yes, Trustee Baldini, yes. So, do we get to hear from Dr. Baldwin?
I thought Trustee Baldini was going to speak, so I was waiting.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, Sally Baldwin. Sally Baldwin is an instructor in the Kinesiology and Health Division of the Physical Education Department. She joined the college in 2013 and recently earned her PhD from Boise State University and her dissertation on creating evidence-based online teaching and learning environments, a passion that guided the Physical Education Division through 2020's unprecedented COVID-19 emergency. Sally has put in countless hours teaching, assisting, and supporting faculty in her division as they move to online curriculum, working to establish professionally, academically, and pedagogically sound classes for our students. Sally also consults and teaches graduate-level courses on instructional design at other community and four-year colleges. Known by her students and colleagues as compassionate, caring, and knowledgeable, Sally's love of learning and excitement about the subject matter spreads to her students. And this is one of my favorite quotes. As one colleague put it, they can't help but to climb on the Sally Express to learning. She is able to engage students on sensitive personal concepts in a caring, empathetic, and safe manner. Her respect for students carries through all aspects of her classroom, whether in person or online. Congratulations, Sally. I'd like to have Senior Dean Bob Harris and Associate Dean Jerry Dunlap say a few words about Sally, and then we will hear from Dr. Baldwin.
I have a few words. When Sally came, I was the Associate Dean in Physical Education, and Dr. Nadine Wade-Gravitz said, I think we have somebody we could use because she has expertise in X, Y, and Z, and that was when she said she was working on her doctorate at Boise State in online education. Maybe someday it might come in handy. Well, she was ahead of her time, and anyway, but Sally, I remember those days, and you've been fabulous, and we're very lucky to have you, and it's wonderful to work with you. Jerry?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, Sally. On behalf of the Kinesiology, Health, and Dance Department, I'd like to congratulate you again on your commitment to students and dedication to their academic success and their overall well-being. Sally, you've always been dedicated. You have a passion that's infectious to everyone in our department. Your students and fellow faculty members hold you in the highest regard. Your spirit and enthusiasm is inspirational. And I can tell everybody here, if you're ever having a bad day and run across Sally, that changes within seconds. She just brightens everybody's day with her infectious smile and positive attitude. We all appreciate the important role you have played as we've transitioned to distance learning during this pandemic. Our department and the college has relied on you as a valuable resource, and you've never let us down, not once, never. You're always there for us. We thank you for all that you do, and we congratulate you again on this prestigious honor. You're extremely deserving, and I am so honored to work with you on a daily basis. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you so much. It's just an honor to work with Jerry and the rest of the people in the PE department. I love working at Napa Valley College. I love working with our students, and it's a joy to come to work every day. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations again, and thank you for your service. So, that is all for this part of the meeting. We are going to go to closed session. So we are on 4.1, closed session, public comment and guidelines. Following any public comment regarding closed session items, the board will go immediately into closed session to consider and or take action upon closed session items. We will devote a total of up to 15 minutes to review comments emailed to the Board of Trustees regarding closed session agenda items. Comments will be posted here for the public record. So we have no public comment cards, and so we're on to closed session. Thank you, and we will come back at approximately 6:30. See you at the session.
Laura, could you please read the items out loud?
Ah, thank you. Sorry about that. We will have 5.1, conference with labor negotiators. 5.2, public employee evaluation. 5.3, with respect to every item of business to be discussed in closed session pursuant to section 54957, public employment. That would be the Assistant Superintendent Vice President of Academic Affairs. 5.4, with respect to every item of business to be discussed in closed session pursuant to section 54957, public employment. That would be approval of a contract extension. And we will be returning at approximately 6:30. Thank you.
And Catherine, can you instruct folks, please?
Yes, the board members will leave this meeting and they will join the closed session as soon as I can get it started. And the other members can return in about an hour, the other people who are participating in the meeting.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the public session of the Napa Valley College Board of Trustees meeting. We had a very good closed session where on 6.1, this evening in closed session by unanimous vote, the Board of Trustees agreed to extend the appointment of Greg Miraglia to the position of Acting Senior Dean, Career Education and Academic Pathways through June 30th, 2020, or until the position is filled on a regular basis, whichever occurs first, at a monthly salary of $6,577. 7.1. Prior to considering this matter as required by Government Code Section 54953C3, parenthesis 3, I am providing an oral summary of the recommendation regarding the salary and fringe benefits under the proposed contract. Academic Administrator. The district is entering into a 3-year employment agreement with Sarah L. Parker as Assistant Superintendent Vice President. Academic Affairs, beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2023. The Assistant Superintendent / Vice President of Academic Affairs will be placed at range 3. Step E on the Associate Vice President, Assistant Superintendent salary schedule. The Assistant Superintendent Vice President Academic Affairs shall be entitled to receive the same benefits as the Administrative Confidential Employee Group. So we're going to vote and then we're going to introduce her. May I entertain a motion, please?
So moved. You beat me, Michael. I'll second.
Moved by Trustee Baldini, second by Trustee Baker. Here we go again. Trustee Baker?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd?
Aye.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Trustee Student Pablo Leon?
Aye.
Baldini?
Aye.
And that's an aye, so it was a unanimous decision. So welcome, Dr. Parker. Would you mind introducing yourself so we can get to see your face? I'm sure that some of us saw you during those forums, but now is almost as an employee starting June 30th. So welcome.
Hi, I hope everyone can hear me okay. Tonight I sat down and I had myself mentally gearing up for another Zoom interview. And I had to keep pinching myself and saying, no, Sarah, not an interview. You are actually going to be playing a part in all of this amazing work that you're hearing about. You're going to get to be a part of this team of impressive individuals. And I'd like to extend my congratulations to everyone who's been honored tonight. It was a real pleasure to get to sit in and listen to those celebratory speeches, and I look forward to meeting you. I'd like to say just a few more things. I'd like to first say thank you to the members of the Board of Trustees for their service to Napa Valley College and to the Napa community, and also a thank you to President Kraft. From the very first visit to the college website and all along the way, the hiring process, meeting administrators, faculty, classified professionals, I have simply been blown away by the level of quality and thoughtfulness that I've seen and experienced. And with each interaction and every new aspect of the college that I've been learning about, tonight absolutely included, I have just become increasingly eager to be part of this community that clearly strives for excellence. And in my role leading Napa Valley College's academic programs, I intend to honor and contribute to this passionate commitment to excellence, as well as NVC's culture of inclusivity and respect for diversity. You know that this moment is characterized by a lot of uncertainty, but I really see a lot of tremendous potential in front of us. Opportunities to be creative and adaptable as we teach and support students, opportunities to form partnerships with one another to close equity gaps, and opportunities to deepen engagement with the community and to respond to local needs. So I just can't wait to get to work on all of this with you. It's such a privilege that you've selected me to join the Napa Valley College community. And again, I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. And again, welcome.
Sarah, congratulations.
Welcome, Dr. Parker.
Great to have you on board. Very excited to hear you, and I'll be sending you thousands of pages on Monday for you to work on. So good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we go on to 8.1. This public comment opportunity is governed by the State of California Brown Act. By definition, this is an opportunity to hear concerns, perspectives, and differing vantage points The board is not able, under the Brown Act, to engage in any level of conversation or discussion, but we look forward to this opportunity to gather community input. At this time, we will review comment to the Board of Trustees regarding any subject not appearing as an agenda item for this meeting, but over which the board has jurisdiction. The public may request that the board place an item related to the business of the district on a future board agenda. No action or discussion will occur at this time on such items. At this time, the board will review general public comments. We have not received any cards for public comment. And so we go to 9 and 9.1, campus student housing project update. And I do need to remind the trustees that this is an informational item, that no action is being requested from us. They will be giving us an update as to what has transpired up to date from the last presentation. And so with that, is Mr. Siri available for the presentation? Or Anne? Are they here?
We are here, and I think Stephen is here as well. I think he might be having a little bit of internet challenge, so I can certainly start, and if his internet enables, he will certainly join us he can hear us. Right now, he just can't.
Yeah, I can hear everybody. Can you hear me okay? I just unfortunately got a notice that said my internet is unstable, so I can't see the screen here. I'm sorry.
No, but we can see you and hear you.
Okay, perfect.
And is it possible to, can we put up the PowerPoint presentation? That would really help. Thank you so much. Great. I think actually we can just go to the next page, and Stephen, if you can just, obviously we've also seen the site plan, and the next page is fine with the different buildings, but just to reorient ourselves, this would be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you all for having us here again this evening. Just to provide a brief overview of the site plan, again, on the right-hand side of the screen is the Napa Valley Highway, and on the bottom of the screen is Magnolia Drive, the entrance of campus. The right-hand side building that you're looking at on the site plan is the apartment building. The apartment building consists of units which have private kitchens and private bathrooms. They will be fully furnished and leased on a lease by the bed. The middle building that you see is the residence hall building. The residence hall building has individual units without kitchens and bathrooms. So the kitchens and bathrooms for the students living in that building are down the hall. Those units will also be leased on a per bed basis. The residence hall units provide the most affordable rent option. The left-hand building is we're calling it the flex building, flexible building. Those are apartment style units, and they will be, they've been designed with families in mind, and they will be leased on a per unit basis versus a per bed basis. The current plan has 90 family student units within the flex building. And then between the residence hall building and the apartment style building, which are leased on a per bed basis, those comprise 412 beds. So just from a kind of quick site plan standpoint, hopefully that helps orient everybody.
As a quick question, this picture is different from what is in the board docs that I'm looking at. I just wanted to confirm that what's in board docs is that this is the most recent that you've got on the screen now, and make certain that it gets replaced what's in board docs?
We are in board docs, so I'm curious to know what you're looking at.
Yeah, because mine looks the same. The presentation is the same one that I got in mine.
Mine's the same too.
So this is the only presentation here. If you clicked on that, and that's the one that opened.
Yeah, I'm not sure why mine would look different. I am also in board docs, and I clicked on the presentation. It's presentation with a 1 in the parentheses. So.
Well, what we can do, make sure, Jennifer, we'll make sure that you get this, but
yeah, so
I'm in board docs right now, so there's some glitches going on somewhere for you.
Yeah, I'll try rebooting it. Maybe something got loaded up since the last time I was looking at it.
Continue, Mr. Siri.
Okay, I think we can advance to the next slide with Catherine, if you don't mind. So it'd be slide 3. And just looking here at student priorities, and just this comes straight from the Scion report that we did obviously about a year ago. And just wanted to show you some weighted factors, is that cost is the overarching, and we've talked about this a lot, but because it'll provide context to cost in that private bedroom and how priorities work together. And then if we can advance to the next slide. And gosh, over the past couple of months, I think at this point, is Scion, the college, and the Martin Group have been working incredibly close on what is the right program aligned with our study, aligned with the objectives. So this is really a follow-up to the meeting that we had last month, and showing that comparison side by side, and referring back to the site plan that Stephen walked us through. And just so you're aware too, and I think we all know, but Scion's team comprises of advisors like myself. We manage 58,000 beds across the country. We brought in a few of our property managers, including one of those from a California community college that's doing a lease up right now. We brought in 2 team members that had worked in campus housing for several years before joining our firm. So you see me every time, but Scion is not just me. The information that I am so privileged to share with all of you every time we're together is the team of Scion. So the interdisciplinary resource that we have. So this collaboration with the college, the Martin Group, and ourselves has led to what we see here. And of course, there's a pro forma too, that goes behind it as well, to make sure it's a self-sustaining financial model while achieving your objectives of cost and privacy. So therefore, we feel as Scion very confident in recommending that the program in front of you aligns with the program that you just saw and see on this slide in terms of that residence hall, in terms of that apartment style, in terms of that flexible building, which is primarily intended for students with dependents. And oftentimes that is a child, and a later trend that we've seen is that could also be potentially like a grandparent, but someone that they need to take care of. So that's why the by the bed and by the unit leasing. Also too, what's very interesting, and I really like the way the buildings are laid out to put some separation between, of course, a student with a dependent and an 18-year-old, but it also allows, student housing is also provided to enable persistence and retention of your students, and incredibly heartwarming to hear your students say, they may want to take more credit hours, and we're very excited to take more credit hours. We talked about this last year, but if affordable quality housing that was safe, remember safety was up there too, provided on your campus. So as a result, maybe that first year, second year, of course, we're hoping that they do go through and, we don't want to, anyways, obviously the goal is to graduate or transfer to a 4-year, but there's a progression of living experience if they choose to do so. So that first year student at your college may want to live in more of a traditional resident style housing. Very nice, very quality, affordable. It's a nice, they are not the dorms of the years when I went to school. And then if they choose to, there's that progression of independence, is that apartment style unit too offers a very diverse living experience for your very diverse student population. So I just, there's a lot of dynamics that go behind this very simple chart that's expressed here. And there's, of course, floor plans that go with each, but it aligns with the science study. It aligns with even further analysis. It aligns with the business plan. So just want to share with the board, and following up on the strong question we received last month, is that this aligns with the science study. So if we want to go to the next slide. And then Stephen, I think you should really talk about, schedule is so important. So I think it'd just be helpful for Stephen as our lead developer and our only developer to share how we get from where we are today to make sure you have 1 month to open student housing, and that's August. So the importance of keeping going. And so I'm really pleased with the schedule that they've laid out to achieve that very important 1 month opening date. And Stephen, do you want to walk through here?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to begin, we're targeting a fall 2023 move-in date. So in student housing, we back into that date. So in order to deliver at that point in time, we need to start construction by the summer of 2021. So the first bullet point, we're on schedule to complete our design development drawings by August of this year. We're working hand in hand with science.
Oh no. Is it just me that lost the audio?
I lost you.
We all lost him.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's okay. If we there we go, Stephen. We've lost your audio, so it'd probably be helpful just to start at the beginning, if that's okay.
Oh no! Can you hear me now? Hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just with schedule in student housing, it's as Ann pointed out, it's so important to begin with the end in mind, and we're all eyeing the fall 2023 start date. And in order to do so, we're going to need to complete and start construction by the summer of 2021. Our next large milestone for this project is the completion of the design development drawings, which will take a full team effort from the architect, our Martin Group team, our project managers, construction managers, Napa Valley College and staff, and Scion in order to hit this milestone. The next big milestone is the completion of the construction drawings. So once we complete all construction drawings, we will subsequently submit that package to the DSA, the Department of State Architects, who is the oversight agency and will permit the plans. We need to provide adequate plan check and review timing, which then lands us to starting construction in the summer of 2021. So that's the high level project milestone overview.
Great, thank you. And we can advance to the next one that says thank you, but really appreciate the time to be back here with everyone. Of course, willing to answer any questions, but I hope that this short presentation provided the answers you had requested in last month's meeting.
Well, I do have a question, kind of follow up on that big question that we were discussing about the alignment of the design and the Zion report. And I don't see a unit mix in the Zion report. But from the design obviously has a lot more apartment style units. And but one thing that the Zion report did say was that Zion did not recommend apartment style units for single student housing because it was not financially feasible for a P3 project. So how does this change? Does this actually conform with the Zion report and the study that was done, or what has changed to not justify but make this change to more apartment units than were identified in the Zion report?
Absolutely. Great. Oh, go ahead, Faye.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Dr. Kraft, is this something that can be addressed by the committee and in another manner? This project, we had approved it, and I understand that at the beginning, there was a beginning, there's a process. We're here in the process, and things are going to change as we go along with other issues.
Well, now if we're starting construction in 2021, I mean,
asking for that, call it a justification. I'd like it to be clear as to why the project has changed as we go forward. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not questioning the project. I'd like to be clear on, that change, because it seems to me that the design does not, if you're just looking at the design now and the report, it doesn't align, not on those findings. So I'd like the record to show what was the change that has led us to where we are.
Anne, do you have any?
Sure, absolutely. So looking really at the charts that we did on their table 50 and 51 from our charts, we did a market demand analysis first. And that identified the unit type preferences, which was both apartments as well as residence halls. So we ran models on all apartments, all residence hall. We did put in some studio apartments, especially too for mental health issues anymore, that there is a fair amount of demand, and Fair Housing really tries to accommodate it for those students that do need to live alone. So that's why there were some apartments in there. So the mix that we shared with you all last May, a year ago, was a blend of mostly residence hall units with some studio apartments to show a financially feasible project. So when I very first, and your question's so great, because that's how this all, it's such a dynamic process that goes into figuring out the most appropriate program. The students have cost first and privacy right second. By putting in a blend of apartment and residence halls, you get the majority of your units are highly affordable in the traditional residence hall, and the apartment style rents too align with what our study has indicated. But by doing that blend of unit types, and this is where ours was a financial analysis to see if it could go forward, then you select your developer, or your developer had been selected to determine how it all works together as one. We also included in this pro forma, we, meaning Martin Group, we did a separate analysis for the faculty, staff, and family student housing. We did them two separate. This site plan, as you see, and through a lot of work over the last few months, puts those two studies together, two analyses together. It was one study. So you have your students with dependents as well as your single students. So that's a blended pro forma even from what you saw that what we presented a year ago. So that's why too, and it's obviously a pretty complex financial model that the Martin Group has been working with us on. And we've had live models, and I've had Scion financial team as well take a really strong look at those for operational benchmarks, financing costs, capitalized interest expenses, you name it, just to make sure that it aligns with what we as an advisor see as best practices for P3. So it's complicated in a board meeting setting, of course, too, to walk through, but I hope this shares how the program aligns with our study by taking the factors all in the executive summary, and really those tables 50 and 51 would really show it as well. Does that answer your question?
I think that helps, and my underlying concern would be that this finding number 2 in your report is no longer really applicable, that the design as it has developed is still a feasible project for a P3 venture.
Yeah, and a lot too, I mean, it goes into so much. So you don't just, we looked at the apartments, and there's been hours of meetings behind what is going into this presentation with all of you today. So you even look too, and on the design team is an architect. There's 2 architects, one that has a lot of California DSA experience. I know them both real well. And another that has about 30,000 beds of on-campus housing across the country. So we had several working sessions just looking at unit types and really creating even efficiencies. Everything to get to that Scion market and demand analysis. If a student could have a private apartment all day long, they would take it. Obviously, they just can't afford it, and cost is number 1. So I don't even remember exactly, but a lot of the unit plans and the square footages even shrunk a little bit, but still well within means of national benchmarks and what's an appropriate living experience, student engagement, etc. So all of that work has gone behind that simple little chart that we just showed you.
I have a question.
Thank you.
Did you say that you merged the student data and the faculty family housing together to get to those numbers? Is that what you did? So
that's right.
So the apartments really came out of the faculty study, which really isn't relevant to what we're building. Or am I misunderstanding?
To be polite, it is a little bit of a misunderstanding.
No, that's okay.
The single students actually too, in those, they desired apartments as well as traditional res hall. Like there's in our report. And then because when you do a survey and whatnot, of course you ask, and you find out pretty quickly if they have a dependent, and so that analysis goes in 2 separate directions. So the family housing is always rented by the unit. So that flex building that you see, that is that students with family / faculty and staff, but the majority of that demand count was from your students with dependents.
Right. I'm a little worried that we're mixing the faculty in there, because I can't imagine a faculty member living there. So
we didn't. No, and I made sure that you couldn't be more right. So they're not going to. And they even said, I think we even had a bullet.
Right. So those numbers aren't padded with that faculty study then.
No, they're not padded at all. It takes the family and then the faculty and staff. We did it as one financial model. But we pulled out the demand figures, and I could certainly send those to you for just the students with dependents. My biggest concern with that site plan was making sure there was just separation, like your tot lot and your 18-year-olds aren't mixing.
Right.
And that's been solved through the architectural solution.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Is there any more comments? This is Jeff Dodd. Something that and thanks for coming. I appreciate you addressing a lot of the questions that we raised at last hearing. something that you mentioned is saying just going over this is a little hard to explain during a presentation. We've asked for the past few months, and perhaps, and if it's just me, then I'm happy to let it slide. But I'd appreciate if the rest of the board, my colleagues, would chime on in this to give staff direction to this effect, unless everyone feels comfortable with it. But just to have something in the record, the information of how we're getting to the room makeup that we have right now, understanding completely in light of market needs and desires to make this an economic to make this project pencil out. Understanding the needs there, but really having this in writing so we can understand it instead of just a single slide. And I trust you, I believe you, but if for us to kind of have this something in the record to support exactly this room makeup, what comes from it, how is it supported. Again, if this is just me, I'm happy to, I don't want to bring everyone down with me, but this is just, it would give me a lot of comfort to see something actually writing. It doesn't need to be a 300-page essay. Just a short executive summary memo and kind of providing some background on how we reached this, how it's consistent with the Scion studies, the feasibility study conclusions, and how that all works together.
I think that's a great suggestion, Jeff. We can easily put together, we'll develop a narrative. And I'd appreciate if the board, I'd love to hear if the rest of my colleagues too are interested in that as well. I just want to make sure this is just not me.
No, I'd like it. I think it's a good idea.
Yes, Trustee Rios?
No, I was just commenting that I'd be interested in that too.
Oh, yeah. And, you're totally right, but I'm very appreciative as to, I remember when the first drawings came to us, there were two different buildings, or more than two different buildings. And I think that finances had to do with a lot. We requested finances and expenditures and so on and so forth. And so here we are with a great plan that is very, could work very well. And so, yeah, it has been a long process. And thank you, Anne, and thank you, Stephen, and you've done a great job. And so if we get that executive summary, that will be wonderful. But, when we approved the agreement, we had a target date to start construction. And so now we're looking at fall of 2023. And so, understand the concerns. I think that we've come a long way.
I would say I clearly understand the staff developing with the team a narrative doesn't slow the process. We're on the process. We'll go to construction, design this week, I believe, and we're off and running. So happy to provide that for you. Thank you, Stephen and Ann.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. That was great. Thank you, Mr. Siri. And so now we're on to reports 10 and 10.1, Academic Senate Report.
Excuse me, Trustee Segura, you're on 9.2.
9.2?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm here for.
9.2, Planning for Upper Valley Campus Program Development.
Board, thank you. Hey, the board had asked for an update last year, and we promised the board towards the end, about a year ago, that we were bringing the campus together, background together to address the Upper Valley campus. And tonight I'm just giving you a very high level profile. It is more of an information item moving forward, and there's plenty of time for questions as we move forward. But let me just give you a couple snapshots, and we can work through. So if you can go to the next slide, if you will. The Upper Valley Campus, St. Helena Center, just as a visual for you to be looking at it, we've got just a piece of history there, because I think some of our board members are not addressed in this and haven't really talked about it. 1980 it was brought to fruition, had a vision for bringing this education and training up Valley. So the proposed schedule included, back in 1980, these things: credit classes in soil and plant nutrition, general vit, wine appreciation, culinary, non-credit classes in art, music, and language and health. And over the broad time that site has been there, we have continued to do all of those things, and we have had other attempts at credit classes along the way. Depending on the time frame, there were a few credit classes that were, I would say, well attended over the years in the 90s, and even in the early in this century, before Napa Valley really took off. We were always known for our grapes, but when hospitality eclipsed the wine business, then we ended up with traffic congestion, and we started to see our student population unwilling to drive the 40 minutes to up Valley. And so we tried several different kinds of things over the years. If you can do the next slide. These have stayed pretty solid over the years. These were the values and principles in planning over the last few years that we've come back to. These are a combination of values and principles in planning for Upper Valley Campus that have come from faculty, staff, administrators, board of trustees, from our own vision and mission, and from studies and consultants as well. Leadership and regional service. Sustainability has been an ongoing piece. Economic efficiency, the stewardship and fairness, which is really trying to be prudent in how we address our incomes. Accountability, transparency, and partnership and collaborations. Integrity and responsiveness of guests, students, and teams. Leadership, professionalism, collegiality. I know I'm reading it. Innovation and creativity. Sorry, you can read it equally as well. But I think that it's important to kind of understand those are the underlying pieces. The current configuration, which is on the next here, I think you're mostly familiar with, but it's a fairly simple site. One of the district sites, main entrance, lobby, administration, library. On the right there is the arts, music, business, and health classroom wing. Down below is the culinary, wine, hospitality teaching wing. And then there were flex, for lack of something, we call these flex meeting rooms. So over on the left-hand side, they have been used for some period of time, science, for computer, from ESL, cooking classes. We've had other kinds of classes in there, including a combination of, over the years, of different credit and different non-credit or community. And then the event and public space in the middle is used for just that. It was constructed this way. I think it's interesting to, if you look at this, especially in light of, kind of us examining spaces, it was designed with those principles in mind that we just went through, and also the original vision of seeing this as of a hospitality hub. It was designed primarily for that, and several things were tried over the years. If you can, this is the current education and training that happens there. So there's been, as you know, there's been iterations of this, but Napa Valley Cooking School for many years was kind of a mainstay of what we did up there. It was a community education certificate program that actually awarded a diploma. And Bob, jump in here if there's, or Faye, if there's something that sounds like needs correction. Hospitality and event management happened there, travel and tourism, both classes and our trips and tours, business and entrepreneurial courses. Our food enthusiast is really some of the community ed, kitchen oriented, health and wellness activities, yoga, all the way through nutrition classes. And then arts and culture, a lot of art, a lot of the, wellness, mindfulness, some social science pieces, and then a lot of community ed. That's still happening up there. There has been much less, I think, down to the next slide, if you will. The current partnerships, these are the partnerships that kind of iterated over the past, I would say 4 years or so. Music in the Vineyards, the Writers Conference, this year was postponed and canceled. Dia de los Muertos, Mariachi Festival, the Festival of Napa Valley, Sonoma State Executive MBA continues there. The farmers market just started. I was really excited with the city calling, us being able to, flex and offer that as a nice location for them. Private events have always happened there, usually through the hospitality service, including some of the space rentals that we have done. And then the regional, county, city leasing and facility rentals is also ongoing. I know I'm talking faster, but we'll just keep going until there's questions. And the next slide, please. Budget and planning. It's interesting because these are budget and planning values and assumptions for the institution, and they are also the same ones we use for that site. So it's important to see that site as another physical location of the college district. As I shared with a couple board members today, it is another physical site in and of itself, but it's not unlike our gym or the PAC or the library. It is under that umbrella where we teach and provide learning. It has also over the years been more handily able to offset some of its costs by selling different kinds of programs, like the community ed and the culinary. Not completely different than we might do selling tickets to help offset some of the PAC performances or leasing out the PAC. So there's a very collateral kind of piece there. Performance-based budgeting, which means that things have to pay their way in terms of community ed, preserve and invest the physical assets, which we have tried to do, but there are some expenses coming up, and encourage innovation and creativity. It begs because of its values, and innovation was one of those. It's a great, I would say, laboratory to start to try different kinds of things. So many things have been tried up there over the years. And the last slide really looks at, this is one side of the budget, and this presents the costs kind of associated with that building. We have the same kind of budget for the PAC. We have the same kind of budget for the LLRC and library, which we could break out. It's a little unusual to look at that snapshot for those buildings I just talked about. But for us right now, I think this is a snapshot from the year ending 19, right? That's right, Bob, right? And building repair, this is what we spent. And Bob can walk you through. I think it'd be more helpful, Bob, if you just unmuted and walked us through these line items so it's more clear.
Sure. So again, as Dr. Kraft said, this is a snapshot at the fiscal year that ended June 30th of 2019. And so that year we spent $111,000 on building repairs, and that was primarily a major component of our energy management system up there that needed to be replaced, as well as repairs and upgrades to the HVAC system there. And so the building is starting to get a little older, and so systems need to be upgraded and replaced on an ongoing basis. Facilities operations at $17,000, that's primarily some payments for groundskeeping and maintenance of the grounds, of certain maintenance contracts like pest control, as well as a courier service that we use to transport items from the Upper Valley campus down to main campus and from main campus up to the Upper Valley campus. Big ticket item is utilities at $159,000, and that's 5 different utilities that are listed there. So it's telephone, which came in that year at about $6,000. It's gas at about $15,000, waste and recycling at $16,000. And then the 2 big ticket items were electricity at $61,000 and water at $62,000. So that's what that total utility bill is. Supplies, fairly minor expense. Equipment rental, there are certain items like a copier, a postage machine, things of that nature that are needed to operate. IT maintenance contracts, the big ticket item there is about $63,000 for the internet connection up there. So that's the Comcast line that allows us to provide Wi-Fi up there, but most importantly, provides the connection between the Upper Valley campus and the main campus so that the Upper Valley campus staff can connect to the colleague system, the email system, things of that nature. And then administrative salaries and benefits, the dean or director, and classified salaries and benefits, there's 2 FTE of office staff. I should point out that this does not include items that were paid through categorical funds. So, for example, there was a student services assistant located at the Upper Valley campus to work with primarily with high school students from St. Helena and Calistoga. That was paid through the Student Equity and Achievement Fund. So these are what you see here are general fund unrestricted expenses.
I have a question. On the building repair, you said that was a major repair. Is that typical each year, or was that kind of high?
Well, it fluctuates from year to year. So if you looked at where we are this year, we're significantly less than that. However, if you look at next year, we are at the point where we need to replace the roof at the Upper Valley campus, and that will be $350,000 to $400,000 to replace the roof. So I would say on average, we're probably looking at $75,000 to $100,000 a year for the facility.
I think that's right. And I received an email from a couple of trustees, do we generate revenue here? And the answer is yes, right? The same kind of FTE revenue that we generate for the rest of the campus, and there's more. It was apportioned a piece of that. When we've gone to community support, the local property taxes that the college district receives also pay for these expenses. They're not differentiated anymore really than the other places we talked about, the library or the PAC. They're easier because there's 4 squares here. It's simpler in some ways to look at this and tease these things out. I suppose we could do a meter read on larger spaces, a little tough. And that's not really totally fair, because we did run several programs up there and we tried to build revenue, and that's still part of our goal, is to build revenue through the events, through hospitality, elements that are ongoing. We have one more slide at least, and then we can get into some more specifics if you'd like.
Yeah, right. And I was one of the folks who was asking one of the questions about revenue, and that's what I would be curious about in terms of fluctuations there, in terms of the revenue associated, incomes associated with non-credit classes like the culinary program, just to see, for instance, over the past 3 years, right, the culinary program attendance there has gone down, but just to kind of what we're doing, and then also, any sort of, actually, what was event rentals for that specific location, and then kind of trying to spot any sort of room for growth there. But I'm glad you're tracking that already. And then Bob, thanks for addressing my other question about utilities. It's sure that those water and electricity bills sure do seem very high. So it was just a shock. So I appreciate you breaking that out too. Just wanted to thank you for that.
We were
always hotter in St. Helena.
Yes. We were addressed. I was talking with Bob today. I mean, a not atypical, utility bill for a home in Napa is $600 to $800 a month, and this is a big facility up there that uses a lot of these kinds of stuff. So it's very, you can see how it stacks up. Last piece, and thanks, Jeff. We'll come back to this. I had many more phases and timelines in here, but I felt it best to keep it high line right now, and we really want to do a couple things. It's really important for the board just to kind of see where we are, right? So I think it's really fair to say that over the years, it's been stop and start, especially if I'm looking at trustees who have been on here a while. Michael's been here a long while. Raphael and Kyle and Rosada and Jennifer have been here a while. So we've seen the ups and downs, just like what we were talking about earlier. It has been difficult to pull together a holistic plan to address this upper valley in a way that made sense, and that was going to help, if you will, pay for itself in quotes, that really addressed the teaching and learning pieces. So we felt really good this year. We're getting it ready. It's hospitality oriented. It's event. We've got it laid out with some strategic partners, all that stuff. We're rolling in, and I hope to have been presenting to you tonight, our plan for an event space with collaborative partners, so we could attend the after party for ceremonies and the mariachi and the commencement and weddings and all of that. But COVID-19 did a job for us here, so we have to really think it through. I do believe, along with most of the other CEOs in the state, and I think most legislators, that we're returning to some new normal sooner or later, and that's probably the best they can do. But I do believe that a year from now, we're planning on renewing the things that are going on up there. So you can see that I'm coming to you tonight to just kind of present that we're planning. I think it's really important that we do it looks like Jeff popped out. Let me grab him. We do some community forums, town halls, virtual, to really get input between now and September. I'd like to hear more from community members. As you know, we had a little staggering start piece with the city. It was back and forth kind of things, and we've had other collaborative partners. As you might recall, a few years ago, we did an RFP, I think. I forgot. What was it, Bob? RFQ?
It was an RFP.
RFP. And we were really wanting people to weigh in and say, how could you collaborate with us in partnerships? The timing was not right for that. When we started talking to the Wine Train or to St. Helena, the Vintners Association, the interest really started to peak last year. At the same time, and this is where I'll kind of end my thought process here. The culinary cooking school changed. Our chef left. We rethought our program. We were able to bolt on a continuing program, rewrite curriculum. We reduced, if you remember, our year-long program priced at $20,000 to a semester program that was more oriented towards 10. We weren't able to recruit the number of students that I felt we needed. So we discontinued that while we're retooling and working on a new curriculum package that's more credit-based, and that's kind of where we are. I don't know if you have questions on this. My intent is really to reach out to the community, get some more, help you all, help me and help you. So we really know what people are thinking, whether people are excited about us moving forward with an event center or hospitality agriculture or something else.
Ron, I'm just wondering, so just to confirm your plan, your thinking is that we would do forums and town halls this summer, looking to build a plan going into the following year.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, I see it. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm partly concerned about, participation level, and also, excuse me, given that we don't, so much is unknown about, the near future, much less the distant future, in terms of, what education is going to look like, what community education might look like, events. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know that in the next 3 months people are going to really have had opportunity to get their heads around what that might look like, and I don't think that it would be a bad idea to have those conversations, but I think that you would want to continue them and not put anything in ink for a while, because this is a moving target.
It's a great comment. Totally understand. And even when I was looking at the May to September, what do you really say? And I guess you have to make it if then, once we're out of this COVID, then. But that's a really hard stretch right now. So I am with you. What we do want to do, I think, with this is move forward in a way that a couple things I know. I can only go to there. I know we're focused. I know our mission is strong as a community college. I know what we're about, and I know that we need to focus on student success. We can all agree on the shared interest on those. So that's true. Now, how the Upper Valley campus can best suit that, tactically, this coming year is really a question, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of why we're coming to you.
Yeah, but I think that having the ear of the community, we can at least have an idea of how they see the Upper Valley campus working, and so if with that we can come up with a better plan or a new plan or whatever, then I think that's a lot of we make that jump and we've gained all that all that leadway. So I think it's a good idea. But like Jennifer said, don't put it in writing yet, and so, but it's good to hear about them from them.
To Bob's
Dr. Kraft.
I'm sorry, I'll just say to Bob's point, we have to maintain the facility. I mean, it's a big infrastructure. We can't let it run to seed. So, we have to make sure that it's tight and dry and, all of those things. So I'm not sure, maybe it was Jeff or somebody trying to, maybe not.
What is that cost to mothball it or operate it?
Whoa, that's an interesting. Well, can you go back to the budget for a moment? And then Bob, maybe you can address this better with Matt. I mean, if we were to go dark, which some colleges have with their centers for a period of time. I mean, you could address that, I guess, Bob.
Well, there would certainly be, you would avoid the administrative salaries. You would potentially avoid the, at least part of the IT maintenance contracts. I think you'd still need some connection to the outside world for fire alarms and other intrusion alarms. The utilities would significantly decrease. But your building repair, you would still in order to make sure that the heating is functioning and the roof isn't leaking, and you would still have to cut the grass and maintain the facilities. So, I mean, you'd still be looking at, and I'm just off the top of my head, you'd still be looking at probably about half of that total, even if you just locked the building and weren't utilizing it.
Okay.
It sounds like we should start a building maintenance program. Just saying. Might be a good idea. Have people earn certificates, landscaping, roofing. That might be a good idea.
Internships.
That's exactly it.
If I could, good point. If you go into the, Trustee Rios, go ahead.
Hey, Bob, I've had a question about the administrative salaries and benefits. Would those really go away? I mean, are those people that get fired, or they have to be found another position somewhere?
Well, we would have to find another position.
So we would really
that's true.
Avoid those costs.
Yeah.
We do have, I mean, Charles could weigh in, but we do have administrators and other classified folks who kind of cycle out or retire or leave the...
Yeah, that happens all the time, but I mean, those would not go away just because we decided to close it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Any more questions?
I was just curious, and I don't know if I missed it. I had a crying baby at one point, but where does the city council discussion start and end with this right now? I mean, I'm just curious if that would be a financial benefit, if it's an option, or if the town hall meetings would even center around that kind of conversation, because I've heard from a lot of folks from St. Helena that are interested in that topic again. I don't know where we're at with it.
Yeah, Trustee Iverson, if I could piggyback off that comment as well. It's almost as someone, when that idea first came about, I was a little reluctant without going through that community forum process. But then I heard Trustee Baker's comments about, maybe this is actually probably something we should wait to ink, and it's almost like a temporary use. I still like the idea, even though perhaps maybe public input might not be that great is what it normally would be by being able to meet in person. So I'd still like the idea about going through that process, but it's almost, in light of that we don't know what education is going to be looking like over this year and perhaps not even the year after, it's almost like the city of St. Louis, such a temporary user, might not really kind of fit the bill quite perfectly right now. But that's just, under this really unique circumstances that we're in right now.
And just kind of going on this topic, Ron, maybe the question I'm looking for an answer is, how would that conversation start again? And could we even look at like a 3-year lease situation with them, and what would that do to our building repairs and utilities? I mean, those are the two big ones I see right here.
That, I don't think that small of a lease would make any sense for anybody with the amount of money they'd have to put in to get into it, especially the city. But that's another topic, I think, probably for another time.
Depends how badly they need the city hall.
This is, I could say this is pretty similar to what the St. Helena Council did, and then the Register reported the next morning, kind of Napa Valley College trustees, decide to. This is just a general conversation, and I like that. I guess to answer your question directly, if the board felt it in their best interest, you could engage the subcommittee to explore the possibility. You can direct staff to explore it directly as well. Conversations are just conversations. I would say it's a very charged issue.
Are you talking about the real property?
Real property committee. I'm sorry. Yes, I wasn't specific. I'm sorry. So we could
if the board so desires, and you don't have to make a decision this evening or right now, we can certainly, we'll do whatever you need. I'll do whatever you need or whatever you want for inquiry. I think the last brief inquiry piece we had, we ended up chasing a story that the Register reported way prematurely. So a casual conversation became something very, very serious. And I want to make sure that whatever we do, it's deliberate and prudent, and we kind of agree that we'd have those conversations.
Yeah, I was actually going to make a comment to that sort of, because when this came up previously, it was like there was something in the paper, and then there were some emails, and then before we even had our next meeting, it was already gone, and so it never really even came to the board for discussion, really, because the whole thing was just a big idea that never went anywhere. And so if there is still interest from the city of Santa Anita to pursue it, I don't see any harm in having a conversation. But I don't know that, I haven't been approached, so I don't know if anybody else has.
I have not had a conversation recently about the possibility of renting. The only conversation I would say that I've had is when we wound down whatever interest was before. The city manager said, keep us in mind. That was about it as we move forward with St. Helena. That's the extent of any conversation that we've had.
And I don't even know what their current needs are anymore.
Yeah, I've been contacted recently by somebody up there wondering if the college was still interested, if the board would agree. At that time, I no idea. But I'm wondering if somebody out there is going to call somebody down here soon.
Well, somebody would probably be me or Bob.
Right.
I don't know, probably need to hear some more conversation on the board, and if there's specific direction. If there's no direction, generally speaking, we'll continue to repair. We'll try to reduce our costs while we are developing curriculum and instituting what we can do. I still think that there is as Jennifer pointed out, there's a time gap here that's so frustratingly unclear. We don't know whether or not we'll be able to do anything up there as a hospitality center, probably for a year, to be fair. I'm not sure what strategic partner would invest, in infrastructure at this point. They're going to want to wait and see what's happening with the entire economy.
Well, and I think that, the city is in a dire need for more comfortable space so they can operate better. Our Upper Valley campus, our campus is empty. And I don't know, I think that that's a conversation to be had. Are they willing to go in as is, or, I'm sure the IT is there. We're making that expense. And so, who knows? We might be saving money there, but I think it's worth having a conversation again if everyone is agreeable to that. I would like that very much.
I think that, Ron, I think and everyone else, I think the planning that you've started needs to continue. I think that before we do anything, the forums in whatever form they may materialize need to happen. There's a lot, like you said, this is a charged issue. You are going to get a lot of people, whether it's online or however, participating in those forums on this issue.
That's my sense that we'll have more than we would for a normal thing, because there are a lot of people that have very strong feelings about the Upper Valley campus. I totally agree.
But I think that
Having a virtual forum, you might
know.
get more people.
I think that we'll at least we'll know. And so if it doesn't work out, then, set it aside. It's not going to work. And 2 years from now, when we have the plan in place for the hospitality, then, let's go for it. Let's just leave campus empty and costing us money. Oh, that sounds like a good plan.
Are we giving direction then? I feel like we're going around and around.
I don't think there's a consensus on
what I've heard
anything
at this point. What I walk away with right now is the Rosales chair. She's asked so far for me to explore that possibility, but I haven't heard. This is not an action item, but I have not heard her ask the board for their kind of general comments, and I'm not getting a very clear message from you. So, if this were the end of this, I would probably not explore that. But I certainly am open to doing whatever the board feels is a prudent course of action.
Well, if I can paraphrase what I think I heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the other 6 of you, but it sounds to me like go ahead and move forward as planned, as you have in your document here, with a lot of unknowns, which we all know. But in the meantime, if someone from St. Helena, somebody who actually has like real authority in St. Helena, not just a community member, was to contact you, that it would be that we would be at least open to hearing what they need. And then we could have perhaps move forward with a discussion about whether that would be a decent fit. But right now, we don't know anything.
That's pretty much what I think.
I just have a question, getting some feedback. But what we're going through right now, what are the career technical opportunities that are going to be emerging from this, such as scenario testing or sanitation or catastrophe management, pandemic management, all these things that we're looking at right now that need solutions. And it makes me reflect on that we're blessed with a nursing program and a respiratory therapy program, but in our criminal justice program, there seems that that these elements coordinated together, that there might be some opportunity for a scenario testing center that goes into somebody mentioned building maintenance. Well, why not? How is that going to look going forward in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months? What's going to come down? Who's going to be trained in these things? And we're a community college with hospitality and wine tasting. Those are all going to change. So what's that look like? And shouldn't we be teaching to those opportunities that seem to have so much application worldwide? Thank you.
It worked for Dr. Parker.
Well,
those are big unknowns, and who knows? I mean, if we had a lamp and say, Ginny, do it for us now, but unfortunately that's not the case. And I agree with Michael. Who knows what this is going to look like? But in the meantime, we need money to cover those expenses. But
okay. So I guess what I'm taking away from this, and is, I will certainly be. I will not. I get a lot of calls from many people on collaborative partnerships, but I will be open and listen. And it feels to me as if in this entire process, which I'm continuing to plan. We're going to unpack our plan with our faculty, staff, and administrators like we have. But also, if there is inquiry, then the board would at least entertain
something on the table, rather than just a general concept. And I don't have any better direction than that.
I think Trustee Rios, at least from my perspective, I thought just hit the nail exactly how you presented, Dr. Kraft, in terms of going through that public forum process. And I think maybe Trustee Baker hit on that as well. So keep proceeding on that. And as this goes on, obviously this is an idea. I strongly believe that the city is still interested. Their circumstances haven't changed. If anything, they've only grown worse. But to still go through this public process, to go through the vetting and to try to speak with people if people are against this idea, it's an opportunity to present it to them, the cost benefits and to see the pros and cons, but just to put it all out there in the public where we can do it and get feedback from both sides of an issue and hear other ideas as well, right? If there are any out there in light of the circumstances that we're in.
Yes.
I like that.
I think I feel like I've got at least as solid direction as we can get on this, and I appreciate it. And I don't have any more on this item, and we can move along if that's okay with folks.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good discussion, and as long as we keep moving and not stall, so that's great. So now we're going to go to 10.1. Academic Senate report. Dr. Tejada, are you still with us?
I am. I'm still with you, yes. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Kraft, colleagues, and welcome, Dr. Parker. The Academic Senate looks forward to working with you, so welcome aboard. I am at the close of my first year of serving as Academic Senate President. Tonight, I wish to highlight what the Academic Senate has accomplished this year. This isn't all of it. I'm just giving you the highlights. I began my term by asking the faculty what they thought our priorities for the year should be, and they placed as our top priority the hiring of a permanent Vice President of Academic Affairs. We achieved our top priority this year. To ensure that the hiring committee for this complex and nuanced position had the representation of the faculty and campus community, I worked with the president of the Faculty Association, the president of the Senate of Classified Professionals, and the president of the Classified Union. We worked and were successful in achieving our objective. The VPAA hiring committee had a broad representation, and for that, we're proud. 10 board policies and administrative policies made it out of committee and are in the approval process. As of tonight, 3 are making their way to you, and 2 having completed the mutual agreement process. The Academic Senate added the Educational Instructional Technology Committee to the Senate structure to ensure that the emergent instructional technology needs are communicated to the District Technology Committee and are met. Earlier this semester, the Academic Senate acquired $30,000 as part of an IEPI grant earmarked specifically for the creation of an Instructional Design Institute for course quality. This proactive vision of creating an Instructional Design Institute has proven key to addressing our emergent and urgent needs during this pandemic. The development and implementation phases, as well as the budget for Phase 1 and Phase 2, have been approved by the Academic Senate on the recommendation of the Academic Senate Executive Committee. We are rolling out Phase 1 this summer to ensure that faculty will have the training in online pedagogy that will ensure our online classes meet the distance education accreditation standards and that faculty are fluent in the use of the ACCJC distance ed rubric. Keeping in mind the training needs identified in the Guided Pathway SOA on equity and the mandates of AB 705, we will also include training trainings for trauma-informed pedagogy. The Institute will continue to run the online trainings in the fall and add the trainings for instructional design for face-to-face pedagogy in the fall, so they will run concurrently. We have selected our first trainers, which are trained in classes approved by the State Chancellor's Office to ensure expertise in the online pedagogy necessary to meet accreditation standards. Upon recommendation of the Academic Senate Executive Committee, the Academic Senate approved a policy revision task force to prepare policy revisions for processing in the fall. This task force will be formed pending the signing of an MOU by our faculty association. The Academic Senate has approved a robust curricula and curriculum processes to ensure compliance with a variety of mandates from the Chancellor's Office and accreditation standards. The Academic Senate, upon recommendation of the Planning and Budget Committee, has approved the Ed Master Plan. These are only the highlights of our accomplishments this year. During the shelter in place, faculty worked tirelessly to convert their classes, both face-to-face and online, into remote online classes to ensure that students were cared for not just academically, but emotionally, as we are dealing with this unprecedented situation. Your faculty have clocked over 100 hours per faculty to convert our classes and to adjust to the added workload to grading that online and remote teaching requires. And this without pay or recognition by the district of our unwaged labor. It has been a privilege to lead and advocate for such a dedicated group of professionals. In closing, I count it a privilege and an honor to serve the Napa Valley College faculty and the college community in the capacity of Academic Senate. Thank you very much. I look forward to next year.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful report. 10.2, Administrative Confidential Senate Report. Mr. Harris.
Yeah, thank you. The Administrative Senate takes pride in working collaboratively with our faculty and classified professional colleagues to ensure that student learning continues at the high levels that we've all come to expect at Napa Valley College. As the campus shifted from face-to-face instruction to online instruction on a moment's notice, there was much concern for the health and welfare of all of our members of the campus community. Now, 8 weeks later, we have all become proficient at some level with the use of Zoom to conduct campus meetings, social gatherings, and award ceremonies. The Administrative Senate constituency is supported and will continue to support our students, faculty, and classified professional colleagues in achieving their goals, whether academic or professional. The Administrative Senate is once again proud to provide a $500 scholarship to a deserving student. In partnership this year with the foundation, we have assembled a committee to review the criteria for the Administrative Senate scholarship, revise the scholarship to reflect current practices and process, and continue to provide funding at the $500 level into the future, and hopefully more. We expect this initiative to be completed for the 2021 academic year. As reported earlier this evening, Robert Bob Vandervelde, Senior Dean, was selected as the 2019-20 Administrative Confidential Employee of the Year. He was nominated by several members of the faculty and was lauded for his energy and commitment to learning and creating a collaborative environment in the area in which he works. It was clear that he is held in high regard and that his efforts to support students, faculty, and staff does not go unnoticed. The Administrative Senate congratulates Bob on its wonderful accolade, and Bob, we look forward to working with you in years to come, as well as working closely with our faculty colleagues and classified professionals. We look forward to the upcoming 2021 year and with whatever it holds. Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that report. 10.3, Associated Students of Napa Valley College report. Is Christopher with us? Christopher Hernandez. I suppose he's not here. 10.4, classified association report, Valerie Moll. And I see that Ms. Moll's report has been posted, and so for any of you that want to read it, it's on our webpage, unless somebody wants to add something to it. Okay. 10.5, classified Senate report. Mr. Shoemaker, is he here? Is he with us? So we're not getting a report on that.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Marty.
Hey, hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I got one of those Barney Rubble computers, so I don't have a camera in that. Yeah, yeah, it's different. It's weird, I'm sure. Yeah, it's the new normal, but yeah, all my constituents is going the same way. You see skeletons at the work site, and it's nice to see some faces on them. So, but I think we continue the mission, so glad to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you.
Okay, that concludes it. We wish you guys the best, and maybe next time I'll do it from Ron's office, participate in it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Faculty Association report. Christy Iwamoto, is she with us?
I am here.
Hi, Christy. How are you?
Hello, Trustee Segura. I wish that my report for the last report of the semester could be more optimistic, but we had a very passionate and well-attended Faculty Association meeting today, so I'm going to just read you some of the highlights that came out of that.
Okay.
The faculty feels the administration is not adequately communicating with us. It became very clear at our last association meeting that from the recommendations of Academic Affairs Council to the deans to the respective departments, the message about what we were doing to prepare for the fall was not clear, not consistent, and up for interpretation. Some divisions were given decision-making power, while others had their schedules thrown back to them for revision after revision. Faculty are being asked to essentially prepare for online, hybrid, and face-to-face possibilities simultaneously. But when faculty ask the administration whether they have answers about safety, PPE, social distancing in classrooms, or other ways that the college is committed to keeping students and staff safe in the event that we are in classrooms in the fall, we are met with silence. Talks in preparation are supposedly underway, and plans are being made to make plans, but nothing is being communicated to us. We're being asked to prepare our classes for every contingency, but our leadership has presented no preparation. Today I saw the facilities list of safe room capacity under social distancing. Put side by side with our number of fall sections, particularly those with a cap of 40 to 50 people, these numbers do not match up. They are untenable. How will the administration reconcile this to keep us safe? No one seems to know. We have heard nothing. On top of this, our faculty salaries are still ranked 67th out of 72 community college districts in the state, just a reminder. A few weeks ago, we undertook the Herculean task of converting all of our face-to-face classes to online on basically 1 week's notice. Some faculty had to move entire programs. Others had never taught an online class and were forced to learn just ahead of their students so they could then turn around and teach them. Many faculty have told me that in order to keep the excellent quality of their instruction, they individually had to put in over 100 hours of extra work. While other colleges have compensated their faculty for this amount of work, some in upwards of $1,500 per faculty member, our administration, who originally told us that any prep work, even during this unprecedented time, was quote unquote part of your job, then came to us willing to gift our faculty with up to $200 with some restrictions for their efforts. Over 50 faculty were in the association meeting today, and they advised me unanimously to turn down this offer because it isn't about the money, and it never was. If we take this $200, then we're agreeing with the district that this is what our thousands of collective hours of extra work were worth. Rather, let it be known that the faculty of Napa Valley College have done all of this work for our students, are not acknowledged for their extra time and dedication, and the college does not care. Tonight, we're going to hear a budget presentation by Mr. Parker. The Faculty Association does not understand the secured roll number under the tentative budget column on page 13, which reflects a 0% increase in property taxes. We know that property tax assessment is announced in July, which is what this number is based upon. It reflects market conditions as of January 1st, which was before the COVID-19 pandemic. We also know that this is not a question of concerns over collections due to the fact that Napa is a teeter county, which funds local agencies based upon property tax assessments and uses late fees to adjust for shortfalls in collections. So, why does this number show a 0% increase in property taxes when the evidence suggests that this is not the case? This could potentially be a difference of up to $2 million, and that is not a small number. So here we are, and fall is uncertain. By asking faculty to essentially prep for all possibilities, we're left to assume that not only are we being asked to replicate the conditions of unpaid labor, we are also doomed to replicate the conversion chaos and anxiety we just lived through 2 months ago. Only this time, it will have been completely avoidable. That is my report. Thank you.
You're muted, Rosara, Chair.
I think you're muted.
I thought I had unmuted. Thank you, Christy. And no, very difficult times that not only us, but the county, the state, the country are living. And hopefully it'll get easier. So next on the agenda, 10.7 is the president's report. Do you have anything to add, Dr. Kraft? And cabinet? I know that Vice President DeHaro submitted something. Would you like to elaborate on that, or are you going to direct us to see it?
Yeah, we could. No, we had a long agenda, so I did not include anything specific. Oscar submitted this, and I'm sure he probably wants to cover at least one thing quickly, I think, on it.
Yeah, very much. Yes, about 6 weeks ago or so, I was called by Sudi Shank, who was calling to ask me about the idea of offering an endowment award to a student services staff member, similar to what is offered or to was awarded to faculty with McPherson Award. And part of this idea is that through her parents' funding and estate, they are going to set aside $25,000 to have an ongoing endowment to award up to $500 for each event for each staff member annually. And so basically, the idea here that I've shared with you is sort of the ins and outs of the proposed award. It's called the Dr. Ed Shank Excellence in Student Service Award, and it's something that for me is very, very exciting. It's the first time, at least in my knowledge of Napa College, that this such award is being offered. And so I wanted to offer my appreciation to Sudi Shank, to her parents, Jerry and Peggy Schlosser, for this award. Currently, the game plan is to invite staff, the campus, faculty to the acknowledgement for May the 22nd, next Friday. On Monday, I'll be sending out to the entire college community the essence of this award, basically what you had here, but also naming the recipient. The recipient is an individual that the donors have asked to name for this first time award. So with that, that's the information I wanted to share. And very briefly, Dr. Kraft, in the next group of information I have there, I just wanted to share with you a bit of the data from the Welcome Center that has become sort of the hub of information for calls and such, given this period that they're experiencing with the virus. This gives an idea how many calls and voicemails and emails and such have come through the Welcome Center and its staff. So it's a large number. There's a lot of questions being asked by students. So what we do is we refer them to the appropriate office and our department, and those that we can answer at the Welcome Center, and we do as well. So that's a brief of my report, Dr. Kraft.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all for mine, unless I think there's HR issues, and I'll make sure. And Bob is dealing with this stuff. Faye, did you have anything you needed to share during this time? No. Okay.
There be none?
Thank you.
Thank you. So 10.8. 2022 Comprehensive Accreditation Review. Dr. Warno.
Yeah, hi. I was remiss about sending my PowerPoint to Catherine in a timely manner this afternoon. So, Catherine, is it okay if I just share my, I need to be.
Can you see what I have shared? Does that work for you?
Oh, great. Oh, good. Never mind, she has it. It's the PowerPoint that I wanted you, or the second item that's there.
Okay, you just walk me through and I'll follow along.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I didn't realize it was posted. So are you able to launch the second one? I can't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see that. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay. Yeah, now I can see it. Thank you. Okay, so good evening, board. I'm here to provide some information about our upcoming comprehensive accreditation review, which is scheduled for 2022. As you all know, we officially launched this process last week when both the campus community and you, as the governing board, received 2 separate trainings from Dr. Stephanie Droker, the president of our regional accrediting body, the ACCJC. So I want to thank all of you for attending the session tailored specifically to the board last week. Catherine, if you could advance the slide. Thank you. There are 2 components of the comprehensive review process for accreditation: the institutional self-evaluation report and site visit. As implied by its name, the institutional self-evaluation report, or ICER, as it's affectionately called, is written by members of the campus community, including, at a minimum, faculty, classified staff, and administrators. For each standard, and there are 120 standards pertaining to single campus districts, such as ours, so for each standard, our writing teams will collect and examine evidence, analyze that evidence, and evaluate our practices against each standard to determine whether we meet the standard, exceed the standard, or need to implement improvements in order to meet the standard or strengthen effectiveness. The second component of the comprehensive review is a site visit, when peers from other ACCJC member institutions come to MBC to meet with individuals and groups, familiarize themselves with our campus, and collect updated information about our practices. We anticipate that our site visit will occur in October 2022. The time limit is associated with this agenda item was developed by working backwards from October 2022 to the present.
Ate dinner.
So now you can go to the next slide, please.
Yeah, the strawberries.
Okay, so there have been several changes since the last time we went through a comprehensive review, and I've highlighted a couple of them here for you. First, the length of the accreditation cycle has shifted from 6 years to 7 years. Since MVC was selected to pilot the 2014 standards back when they were new, we are the first to shift to the 7-year cycle and the first to undergo a second round of review under the current standards. The years of our most recent and upcoming reviews are noted at the top of this slide, in the first bullet point. The biggest change in the comprehensive review process is that it now includes a formative and a summative review. This new process was approved by the Commission last year and is currently being piloted among some institutions undergoing review now and as well as next year. The formative process is based on the peer review team's review of our ICER. Based on the review of our report, they will identify areas of no concern, that is, areas in which we meet or exceed the standards and they do not feel that they need additional evidence in order to make an assessment. These areas and associated standards will not be part of the site visit. Instead, the site visit will focus on what they're calling core inquiry areas that are identified by the peer review team, again, based on the reading of our ICER. The core inquiries will be communicated to MVC as part of the formative process. We will then have approximately 6 months to continue our work and implement improvements in the identified areas. Team members, and that's potentially a subgroup of the original peer review team, will then come to MVC for what they're calling a focused site visit that will focus on the core inquiries. They will interview individuals as well as groups, and they will be given updated evidence that we have collected and produced during the 6 months between the formative and summative phases. The peer review team will then draft a summative report reflecting the state of the college at the time of the site visit. And Catherine, we can advance the slides, please. So the timeline that was attached to this agenda item extends from this semester through spring 2023, when we will receive notification of action taken by the Commission based on our ICER and the peer review team's report. I have projected here an even more general timeline for you. The timeline indicates that we will use 2020 to prepare, form teams, provide training, and collect evidence. 2001 will be spent writing and updating drafts. The timeline includes 3 iterative drafts, with each draft to be reviewed by a different audience. The board will approve the ICER at the end of 2021. 2022 will then be devoted to the formative and summative phases of peer review and subsequent work by MVC based on the core inquiries. The board will receive regular communications and accreditation updates over the next 2 years, and you will be involved in Standard 4C pertaining to the governing board. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have at this time.
Comments, questions for Dr. Werno? Thank you, Dr. Werno. And guys being at that training. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, so 11.1, approval of consent calendar.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you very much. Moved by Trustee Iverson, second by Trustee Baldini. Discussion, questions? Okay. Trustee Baker, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd?
Aye.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Trustee Student Pablo Leon?
Aye.
Trustee Baldini?
Aye.
And it is an aye for me as well. So we go on to 12.1, curriculum changes for spring 2020. It is an action item.
Motion to approve item 12.1.
I'm sorry, was that Trustee Dodd or Trustee?
Trustee Dodd.
Trustee
And
Dodd.
Epperson seconded.
Oh, okay. Move for approval, Trustee Dodd, second by Trustee Iverson. Questions, discussion? Trustee Baker, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd?
Aye.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Student trustee, Leon?
Aye.
Trustee Baldini?
Aye.
And that is an aye for us. That's a unanimous decision. 12.2, San Francisco Wine School contract.
Move approval?
Second.
Moved by trustee Baldini, second by trustee Rios. Trustee Baker?
Aye.
Trustee Dodd?
Aye.
Trustee Goff?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson again?
Aye.
Trustee Rios?
Aye.
Student trustee Leon?
Aye.
Trustee Baldini?
Aye.
And that is an aye for us, for me as well. Unanimously. 13, Administrative Services Information Discussion Action Items. 14, Human Resources Information Discussion Action Items. 15, Student Affairs Information Discussion Action Items. 15.1, Resolution Delaying Student Government Elections. Dr. Graff, do you have any comments on this?
Just quickly, for a number of factors, we weren't able to hold elections in a timely manner. So the ASMBC through Student Affairs and with student input are okay with us passing a resolution delaying the student government elections. And that attachment is here. So we would ask you to do this so we can continue to hold those people in place. And then when we are able to focus, get the students focused and have elections, we will continue to do that.
Thank you.
I had a question.
Yes?
I had a question. I noticed in here that it specifically says those officers will earn a stipend over the summer. Is that normal that officers usually get a stipend over the summer, or is that something added?
I do not know, and I don't know whether or not Kevin does.
Mr. Kraft, yes, given the fact that it is a common practice within other colleges, and actually this is the first year that some government officials have had the opportunity for a stipend. And so the idea is to make their roles almost like year long. So as new as board on on directorship, those individuals who work in the summer will actually be working and earning the stipend and learning their roles, learning the bylaws or the policies, the Constitution. And so the idea is to compensate them for the time that they'll be engaged in. It's a small stipend, but also it makes them feel more committed to the position and also bring forth more energy to providing the activities for our students.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, can I entertain a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Motion.
A second.
I'm sorry, Maldini,
Rios. Golf.
Moved by trustee Rios, second by trustee Goff. Trustee Baker.
Aye.
Trustee Dodd.
Aye.
Trustee Goff.
Aye.
Trustee Iverson.
Aye.
Trustee Rios.
Aye.
Student trustee Leon.
Aye.
Trustee Baldini.
Aye.
And that is an aye for me as well, so it passes unanimously. 16, general information discussion action items. 17, board policy review and adoption. 18, board reports. 18.1, standing committee and other appointments reports. District auxiliary services.
We did not meet. I believe our next meeting is at the end of June.
Thank you. Viticulture and Winery Foundation Board, Trustee Baldini.
Thank you. I attended at your request. The meeting was the Wednesday, the 6th. We had a thumbs up approval of our tax returns, and the auditors accepted the report. Give us a thumbs up on our audit report, and talked about some wine sales, pulling back some of the 15 Cabernet Sauvignon for our library. We talked about Whole Foods being presently the only outlet for purchase at retail, and we spoke about the little bit of frost damage in the vineyard, and about the vineyard renewal taking place on about a third of the vineyard, which might be delayed until next year. And our next meeting will be in August, probably around the 5th or thereabouts.
Thank you. Thank you. Legislative Affairs, Trustee Goff?
Legislative Affairs Committee did not meet, but we are so blessed to have Holly Dawson, who keeps us in the loop. I don't know when she sleeps. And she wrote English instead of Spanish, which is also tricky these days. So I'm very grateful for her for these notes. So I'm going to read you. This is Holly actually speaking. It says, after extended recess, the State Assembly reconvened last week and the Senate joined them this week. Legislative and budget hearings have started again, but are mostly focused on issues raised by COVID-19. Legislators have been asked to significantly cut down the number of bills they are carrying this year. CCLC staff is working with authors who are carrying legislation that impact community colleges to identify which bills are going forward. We will receive an update on which bills are still active once CCLC identifies them. Napa Valley College signed on to the Community College Shared Budget Priorities Letter to the Assembly and Senate Budget Committee. The governor shared the grim news on the state budget, and she totally rats out Bob Parker that you will address it. Dr. Kraft sent a letter of support to the Senate Health Committee for SB 110, which will establish the California Medicine Scholars Program as a pilot program in 4 regions across the state. The program expands programs like the one our MESA program has with Kaiser Permanente, which is now in its 5th year. On a really high note, Congressman Mike Thompson participated in the college's virtual transfer day celebration this morning and was very appreciative to NVC and very encouraging to students. So that is very good news. So, Bob, I don't know if you want to say anything about the state budget that we heard today and the whole backlash that is going to wash over us soon.
So, just very quickly, the governor announced his May revise at noon today, and we're still awaiting some information from the state chancellor's office. They typically send out an analysis, but it was pretty complicated today, and so probably won't get that analysis until sometime tomorrow. We'll also be participating in the Department of Finance budget analysis workshop for community colleges at 2 p.m. tomorrow. But basically, the news in the budget was, no surprise, the initial cost of living adjustments that were forecasted are no longer there. There will probably be deferrals in this budget, so payments that were due in 1 month will come in a little later. There is projected to be a 10% reduction in the student-centered funding formula, also a 10% reduction in the local control funding formula for K-12s. Since we are community supported, the adjustments in the student-centered funding formula don't impact us. But what does impact us is there will be reductions in categorical programs, so reduction in student equity and achievement, a reduction in funding for the adult education program, strong workforce will be reduced. So we're waiting for final analysis to see what the overall percentage reductions will be in those areas.
I think it's really key to keep in mind, and I'm sure I don't have to say this, but I want to say it just for the record, that while we are inconvenienced or have to change our mode of operation, the unknown is unknown. No one is keeping a secret from us. And the state is in the same predicament we are. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what the budget's going to look like. And we're all on this waiting game. And I know every day it's very discouraging. Some days I don't read the paper or watch the news because it's overwhelming. But it's hurting all of us playing this waiting game. And I get it. That's the hardest part, is not being able to say, this is what is going to happen. And so I think it's really important that we give each other a break and really acknowledge that although we have a pecking order within the college, we all answer to somebody above us. And again, we have to wait for the state of California to figure out where they are, because they don't have a clue either. Even though they seem confident, they don't have a clue. So as far as the legislation goes, I think hopefully our representatives are doing the best they can. But as far as money, nobody knows. So we're just going to have to wait it out. We'll all survive. And it'll get back to normal. But it's not going to be a 6-month fix. It just isn't, right? It's going to be a year or two at least until we know what's happening. So I think we just need to really take a breath and go day to day, like, because we don't have a choice at this point.
Yeah.
So everybody
Well
needs.
said.
Yes, very well said. Thank you. Audit and finance, when are we meeting? Oops, sorry.
When are we meeting, Bob?
I'm wondering that myself. We were originally anticipating or contemplating a meeting in June, which would kind of be the kickoff of the audit for the 1920 fiscal year. But I'll need to reach out to Ben and the folks at CWDL to see when they would be available for us to schedule that.
Thank you.
I'm not going anywhere.
I didn't think I'm either. Real Property Committee, Mr. Rios.
We have not had a meeting, and so there's no report, and there's nothing scheduled.
McPherson Distinguished Teaching Award.
Yes. I want to thank Faye and Paul, and Faye, you got to help me with the other people. We have a student representative. We had somebody from the foundation, and I'm going to screw up their names. Who is on us? Faye, you're muted.
Jessica Thomason.
Thank you. Jessica
Thank
Thompson.
you. Jessica Thomason. And who was our student?
Student was Celeste, and I'm drawing a blank on her last name.
Okay.
Apologize.
It was quite a meeting. Great conversation, great debate. It was always fun to talk about teachers who are just rocking it, who are just going above and beyond, and, just putting the student first 100%. I will tell you, can I tell them, Faye, who was texting to our meeting? Can I talk about that?
Who was what? Say that again.
Texting you throughout our meeting. You want to tell them that or not?
You gotta spit it out now.
I know.
I was going to say, now you have to go.
Can't keep that from.
I have to rat you out, because as we are talking, the meeting was I think it was 4 hours or something. And Faye was actually late for a meeting with the person who actually won the award. Hanover. So she was like, I can't say anything, but she's texting me because I'm late and I got to tell her I'm in a meeting. And so it was pretty funny, because Faye was really in between this and couldn't quite figure out how to get out of it. So it was pretty funny. But it was a really great experience, as it was last year, and I'm looking forward to serving again. So thank you.
Thank you for that report. Napa Valley College Foundation, Trustee Iverson?
We did not meet, but a couple updates. Jessica Thomason is our acting executive director. And we also had our FAST campaign. We funded 147 checks. That was to help students with some COVID-19 relief. And let's see, scholarships in the amount of $151,000 will be awarded to students by the end of this month. and a total of 245,000 by June 30th.
Wow.
So a lot of good stuff going on, and I'm looking forward to bringing good news to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Iverson. 18.2. Does anybody have future agenda items or requests?
This might not be an agenda item, but back to the Upper Valley campus, would a appraisal be advisable or worthwhile on that property?
What kind of rumors do you want to start?
Yes.
I think you're the board chair of the real estate.
Is it
Moving right along.
for what purpose?
See what it's worth. See what we're talking about.
Some millions, lots of millions. But anyway, we'll look into that. Thank you. And 18.3, trustee and board chair reports. Trustee Baker?
Nothing really. I had to get up and shut the door because we were having our nightly let's all kill each other argument. And so I actually been attending quite a few events from my from various rooms in my house. Let's see, I went to the Puente event, and also I was able to attend the McPherson event and the STEM Posium, which I just got really excited about the name. I was so impressed with some of the stuff that these kids are, I shouldn't call them kids, these young adults that are coming up with is just amazing, the stuff that they're coming up with. It gives me a lot of hope. I went to the transfer event earlier this morning and got to chat with Josefa in the back while that was going on. And then, of course, the accreditation training last week. So all of us are just hanging in and trying to limit the kill each other arguments to once a day.
Awesome. Trustee Dodd.
Nothing to specifically report, but just want to just express my gratitude to everybody again on the staff and the administration and to our wonderful faculty for all the hard work that everybody's putting in right now. I know it's really unprecedented times, but we're all thinking about you and very appreciative and very proud. I can't express that enough. Very proud of the job that you're doing.
Thank you. Trustee Goff.
I just want to give a shout out to Catherine and Kathy for making Zoom work. It's a juggling act, especially when your Wi-Fi is going down. So I thought I'd just thank them for making this happen. That's all.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Trustee Iverson.
Nothing to report. Sorry if I didn't have my mic muted when my daughter was crying. I don't know how many times I might have missed that.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's been quite an adjustment. So, and again, thank you to everyone at the college from the bottom up, and I appreciate everyone, classified faculty, administration, everyone that's doing their part in these uncertain times. So thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Rios?
I have no report other than attending the accreditation training. That's about it. Thanks.
Thank you. Student trustee Leon?
Nothing to report. Just like to state that in these last few weeks that I hope that all students remain resilient and they finish up finals with a successful term. And so I wish the best to all students out there listening.
Well said. Yep.
Yes, very well said. Thank you. Trustee Baldini?
Yes, thank you. All the Zoom events, very well done. The transfer celebration today, Puente, the accreditation. I can't believe 7 years is going to come so quickly again. But I thank everyone for their doubling down on their efforts to make this and continue this great facility. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't have a report either, other than attending the accreditation training. It was good. And I'm sorry, I signed up for most of the events, but I couldn't connect. It's very busy at the office right now, and so I couldn't get away to. But congratulations to the Puente program, the STEM, everybody. And I just would like to say that faculty, you're doing a great job under the circumstances, and we do appreciate what you do for the district. And no, you're not being ignored, and we're doing the best we can. Billions and billions of dollars, and it's not enough, and unknowns are unknowns. But we do love you, we do appreciate you, and I'm sure the community appreciates you as well. So, who wants to continue with closed session? No. I guess nobody does. And with that, we are adjourned at 8:07.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Everyone, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
You're welcome, Dr. Parker.
Ron, you can